This is Sportswatch on 6 News. I'm Leo Puglisi. There's Lachlan Sheriff. Continue in. He's on a train somewhere because he doesn't care about this show, but we will go on. Something he probably does care about, something we all care about, the Australia Cup. Finally, the round of 32 got underway last night. We're recording this on Wednesday afternoon, and a massive few clashes, some big scorelines. The one to start with, Nunawading City. Wow, what an incredible performance last night. Up in the top end against Darwin Olympic, a 9-0 victory. That is an Australia Cup record. It beat a Sydney FC game. They won 8-0 once. Absolutely remarkable. And for a VPL2 side to now be heading into the round of 16, their first ever time on the national stage, it doesn't get any better than this. These are the stories that you love about the Australia Cup.
For sure. I mean, look, first of all, you feel for Darwin Olympic a little bit because they gave it their best, but Nunawading still the Duke on the night. And that goes to show you that Northzone probably needs a bit more funding and a bit more support because team like Nunawading aren't even an NPLvic team. This is VPL2. A VPL2 team has gone to Darwin Olympic and won 9-0. So, of course, you feel a bit for Darwin Olympic and the whole Northzone community. But no, don't take anything away from Nunawading because that was a huge performance. I mean, right from the get-go, I was at the other game. I was at Avondale in Green Gully, and right from the get-go, you're checking your phone, you're saying 1-0, 2-0, 3-0. I thought it was going to end up 15 or 16. I think we all did. So a huge performance for Nunawading. What I really am interested in now is, can they take, obviously it's a bit of a weaker opponent, can they take this into the next round, take the momentum they've got, go on, get a big NPL team, get Avondale maybe, even get, an A-League team, if you will, get one of those and just use them seeing them score 9 goals as a momentum to push forward and win yet another game and go to the quarterfinals.
I mean, I'd love it. I am with them all the way for this Australia Cup. There cannot be a better story. They are the lowest ranked side in any competition, any state, to be at this point at the moment. The journey to get there was obviously significant. They had some dominant victories against an NPL victorious side here. In itself would have been remarkable anyway. To get to the position where they are at is also amazing. And look, the commentators I think made the point early in the broadcast before it started that instead of there being David versus Goliath, this was really a David versus David kind of battle. But I mean, Darwin Olympic, again, it's not to hate on the Northern Territory competitions there, but it's largely an amateur thing, right? I mean, this isn't an NPL structure. It's it is a different format for various reasons. This happens with sporting in the NT. Things have to be different there. But again, ridiculously dominant on the night. This wasn't just simply were able to get the early goal and were able to hold the lead. I mean, they were on all night, and it was quite remarkable to see for Nunawading City. The other games, and you were at one of them there, so you had Western Sydney take care of Peninsula pretty easily, and then Avondale got in. It was a slow start, but it was a pretty confident victory for them at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a slow start playing out at Green Gully Reserve. You had Stirling Lions come down, and Stirling are a good team in NPLWA, so this could have been a good game. First half was close. You couldn't tell who was going to take the lead. Avondale had some great chances, don't get me wrong, but Stirling held strong, and for a while you thought, okay, this could go to extra time to go to our penalties, but once Avondale got that first goal early in the second half, it was just floodlights. It was completely dominance. So I saw 5 goals go through. It was not even close. Stirling did manage to pull them back at the end, a bit of a consolation, but no, a commanding victory from Avondale, who will now go on not only in the cup, but in the round of 16 flat, but also win the league, which they're chasing down Heidelberg United. That's a big win for them, that big second half. I was very impressed by what I saw, and I think they can definitely go on now to do some damage in the league and the cup.
The AFL now, and some rumours that have come in only in the past few hours surrounding Carlton forward Charlie Curnow. And they caught me a bit off guard when I heard him on the 6 o'clock news last night that supposedly he's interested in going to Gold Coast. There's also talk that Sydney and Geelong are on the table. Now, we know that Carlton is at serious risk of losing Tom de Koning at the end of this season. And we've heard varying talk about there being, discontent in the playing group, given many things that are going on with Carlton at the moment. Do you believe Curnow could go, though, to Gold Coast?
I mean, I'm a little split on it because, let's be real, it has come out of nowhere. No one saw this coming until last night. And you look at some of the other teams there, you look at Sydney, you look at Geelong. I mean, these are big teams. You get big free agents, but Gold Coast, this would be their biggest player they've ever got out of free agency since Gary Apple. Like, this is huge. I think it honestly goes to show you how good they're doing as a club with Damien Hardwick. They look like they should make finals. They've progressed a lot as a club. They've got some great young players, and now if they can get Charlie Curnow, I think they just take the next step. As for Carlton, it's not looking good. As you mentioned, a Conan could be out the door to St Kilda, not even a club's been doing well team. They could be going to a club below them on the ladder. That's bad enough. But then you lose Curnow, who has been a two-time gold medalist. He's just been a superstar ever since he walked through those doors, and especially after he came back from that injury in, I believe, 2021. He's just been unstoppable, and I am really worried for them if they lose Curnow, and maybe even Mackay. Mackay might be out the door himself. Who knows? So it's not looking pretty for Carlton. It is looking pretty for Gold Coast if they get Curnow, and I'll definitely be interested to see if that's where he goes, because they could do a lot of damage if they get Charlie Curnow.
I don't see him joining. I really don't. I think Carlton's fairly adamant on it. They're adamant publicly. I see no reason why he would leave, but I think I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there is discontent among some of Carlton's biggest names. The situation they found themselves in for a while has obviously not been good, but this season has been, a bit of a letdown so far, irrespective of what happens. And for all we know, they could beat Hawthorn, but still, it just hasn't been very positive for them. I guess we talked about, Jez, we talked about the other week where Essendon goes from here. What could a good Essendon season look like? What could a good Carlton season look like for the rest of 2025, though?
Ooh, keep your players? I'm not sure. I don't really see what could happen now on the field for Carlton to be considered a good season. I mean, you're not at the very bottom. You're not going to get the first pick. You're also, I want to say 4 games, maybe even 5 games out of the top 8. So you're not going to make that either. You're currently floating in 12th, 13th. I mean, get the young kids out there, give the young kids a run around. I'm not really sure, but it's not going to be a pretty end to the season for Carlton, I can tell you that much. And I'm really worried that they're not going to bounce back from this, because sometimes the worst place to finish on the ladder is 12th or 13th, because you don't get a great pick, you don't make finals. Like, I am a bit worried for them. So we'll have to see how they go at the end of this year and next year. So interesting to see.
It's an ugly mid-table position. Absolutely. We've been talking about, St Kilda, who are always there, for instance. And again, just really disappointing for Carlton. Less so disappointing for the Opals, and a big win that I know you've been following very closely.
I have. So we recently had the Asian Cup in the women's basketball atmosphere. Australia were in there, obviously. We had some pretty easy games to start off the group stage. We had Lebanon and the Philippines in our group. Both of those were always going to be pretty easy wins. Then it was the Japan game we had, which kind of threw a few people off, because Japan have always been setting the standard in this. So you felt that if we can beat Japan in the group stage, we can go on and win the whole thing. And that's exactly what we did. We won 79-67 in that first group stage game. Semi-final against South Korea was another pretty close game. South Korea played us hard, but we managed to see it through. And then the final recently, again against Japan, Japan made the final as well. You come back again and you win the whole thing. So it's incredible to see, because obviously we were dominant in Oceania back when we were in the Oceanian continent. Ever since we joined the Asia's basketball division, we haven't won an Asian Cup in the women's division. We have come second, we've come third, but ever since 2015, when we were in the Oceanian tournament, we have not had any success at the continental level. So to finally get that monkey off our back 10 years later, see how great teams like Japan and South Korea and get it done is wonderful for Australian women's basketball, because it's definitely been going. It's a long time coming. There's NBL One Women's has been great. You've got the WNBL, which is always good. We've got players out there in the college stratosphere. We've got players in WNBA. It's been a long time coming, and now to finally get that to happen, especially after winning medals in the Olympics, coming so close to winning the Asian Cup. It's always felt like we've got to get it done soon, and we finally have. So well done to all the girls on that team, because that was an incredible final in Japan, and a wonderful tournament in general, just for all the teams. So well done. I was very impressed.
And this does move the Opals on to the kind of World Cup stage, doesn't it? Where you're going to have a bunch of big names, the best of the best for obvious reasons, which, it's obviously going to be a challenge here, but, a bit of a spring in your step from this. And I think the advantage of automatic qualification, it maybe just relaxes a few things. You got more time to prepare for those bigger names, those bigger nations.
For sure. There's a lot of big teams out there. Obviously, you might instantly think of the USA, how dominant they've been in women's basketball. You've got France, who look pretty good. They came silver. They won second in the Olympics last year. You've got Brazil. They're a great team. So there's a lot of big nations in this World Cup. And I'm really excited to see how we match up against them, because, look, we came third in the Olympics last year. We've got some great players. We've got a great basketball team. So are we as good as America on paper? Obviously not. But I do think that if we get our chance, if we can really put our foot down and make some moves, get some better players in. Because let's keep in mind, there's still a lot more players who have to come through, but a lot of young players coming through the start of their WNBA career, or their youth career. They're high school. They're still in high school. They're still in college in the USA. There's a lot of players that have to come through over the next years for the World Cup, for the 2028 Olympics. Even if our home Olympics in 2032, there's still a lot more that has to be done. So this is a great place to start. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here because the sky is the limit for this team.
Just finally on the AIHL, we've been talking for weeks, months even. Who can beat the ice? Can anyone beat the ice? Will this go, nuts for the rest of the season with about a month to go? We have an answer to that.
We do. So the Canberra Braves, who we've been talking about a lot as well, have finally taken down the ice. They won 9-3 and 5-2. They played them twice. They won both games. So two incredible wins for the Braves. We've talked about how good they've been, how good they've been at home. Once again, the ice had to travel up to Canberra, travel up to that incredible stadium, and I'm going to be honest, they did not look good. Especially that second game, this was not their best team. So we have wondered all year who is going to do it, who is going to take down the ice. And obviously the ice is still on top. Obviously the ice is going to finish on top come finals. We have wondered, once finals start, can anyone take down the ice, or are the ice simply too good? And we got shown on the weekend that no, the ice aren't unbeatable. The ice can be beaten. Like I've said before, they've had no regular season losses. They've had a few overtime losses, but no losses in regulation. So you want, could anyone do it? Could anyone take them down? And credit to the Braves, because they have absolutely done that. They've absolutely caught the standings recently. They're now sitting third, which I don't think anyone saw at the start of the season. So I am really impressed with what I've seen out on the ice for Canberra. And again, like I said earlier with them, they can go all the way. This is Canberra is not a big sporting city. They've got an A-League women's team, they've got an NRL team, nothing else. So for this big AIHL team to come through with a huge stadium, a huge fan base, huge support, I really do think we could be seeing the start of an incredible team and an incredible journey here. And if they can come out, play the ice again in the finals, beat them again, and go on and win the whole thing, then it's just going to be a start to an incredible era coming up for Canberra.
We'll be covering it all on Sportswatch. That is Sportswatch for this week. Remember, you can stream all the latest episodes on our YouTube channel. Support us for just $4 or $10 a month. Patreon.com/SIXNewsAU. We don't know if Tin will be back next week, and I'm not sure if it matters either way. But we will be back next week, I am sure. Thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next time.